Hi, Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter. It's Sat Chat time. It's that weekly video when we talk about nothing for 27 minutes. It's somewhat art related, somewhat life related. If you don't like those sort of videos, then this one is not for you. And I guess you can leave without comment because without fail every week I offend somebody over something. You wouldn't think so, watching these mild-mannered chats, but somebody is always upset with something and leaves a comment. And I'm unsubscribing. That's how they end the comment. I find it hilarious because this is like the most uncontroversial channel on the internet, I think. I really can't think of one that's more uncontroversial than this, but yeah, I always seem to offend someone over something. So you've been warned. Do I have a lot to talk about this week? I don't know. I always manage to talk. I hope you guys' week is going well. To our friends in the southern states, I take care. There's a hurricane coming, and man, you guys have been battered bad this year. It's awful. There's been so much going on this year. It seems like more natural disasters than usual. So to all my friends in the Louisiana area, please take care of each other, stay safe, and hopefully the storm settles down a little bit before it hits land. That's scary stuff. We don't have weather like that up here. We'll have some big blizzards, but that's about as bad as it gets up in this area. It did turn cold this week. You might notice I got my hair cut. Lila had a chance to cut it this week, which was really good because I was getting so fed up with it. And she asked me how short I wanted it, and I said, cut 2 inches off. And she's like, really, Mama? That's pretty short. And I said, I'm fed up with it. Cut it off. I've been in a state of fed up for like a week and a half, I think. Fed up. Cut it off. And so in my mind, 2 inches is like that much. And so when I saw the chunk of hair hit the floor that was about that long, I was like, oh, I miscalculated. But I'm like, I'm just going to go with it. It's hair, it grows back. I'm not fussy about my hair. So she cut it, and then I was looking at the top. The top seemed kind of long, because usually I do have my bangs cut in hair kind of long so I can, like, you know, scrunch it or flip it back or whatever. And I was pulling the bangs down, and it was like mid-nose. And I'm like, oh, that's gotta be shorter. It must be much shorter. And so she's cutting it, and then I forget that my hair has quite a bit of natural curl when it's short, but it hadn't been been very flat because it has been very humid lately, so my hair hadn't like curled up very much. That's why it was just bothering me and just annoying me so much because it was just kind of blah. And but with it being that much shorter, it really curled up short. So it was kind of weird. So, but the good thing is though, like I walked the dog today. I had a stocking hat on because it was like 40 degrees this morning. It was crazy. It was so cold. And I had like a puffer coat on and everything, and I was still cold. But when I got home, all I had to do was just like, you know, wet my hands and just kind of do one of these and do, you know, and then, I mean, I'm not going to win any, you know, beauty awards, but it's fine, you know, which is what I'm going for. I mean, anytime you can look in the mirror and say, my hair, it's fine, you know. I mean, call that a win. I call that a win. You know, I don't want to deal with long hair. I usually get a lot of comments on my hair every week, so I figure I better explain the new look. I do need to freshen up the color. I did get some medium auburn to freshen it up for my fall coloring because my tan is all but faded now. So I just look real washed out with blonde hair in the winter. I do like blonde hair. It's probably my favorite color to wear, but I'm just so washed out once, you know, I'm outside every day, but I just don't seem to grab too much of the sun this time of year. The sun, the sun is too low this time of year. And actually, I have been taking vitamin D because I had low levels. I think everybody in Maine has low levels because we don't get that much sun. I was running low, so I'm like, I'm going to go to the grocery store after I drop the girls off at school today. I'm going to, you know, win the day. And so I did a full grocery run. They were like cleaned out of vitamins. I could not believe it. I've never seen like the vitamin aisle at the supermarket so wiped out. They didn't have the vitamin D3 because I don't do the soft gels because they have gelatin in them and I'm a vegetarian. So they didn't have it. And I was like, oh my gosh, I guess I'm going to have to order that online. But anyway, got home, really cold still. So I'm like, well, I'm going to put the groceries away, which I would do anyway. Then I'm like, well, it's still very cold outside. Don't want to walk the dog yet. So I cleaned the kitchen. Meanwhile, my dog is like losing her mind. She's like, Mama, come on, we got to go for our walk. And I knew it was an in-service day, or at least it was supposed to be. So I walked the dog on the trails behind the elementary school down the road. And I did ask permission to somebody that was there. I'm not sure if they had like full authority to grant me permission to use the school grounds when school's in session. Because I don't know, you know, walking the dog on the cross-country trails, it's technically school property, but it also abuts the disc golf trails. So, you know, I don't know. I mean, they could background check me if they want, you know, because I'm, you know, walking on school grounds and stuff, if they were concerned. But I think it was like a janitor or something said it was totally fine to use those trails. But still, I try not to when school's in session, just because I don't want to, like, I don't know if it's true that I can, so I don't want to push my luck. So I'm like, today's in-service day. So I get there and I see a big sign on their sign saying, in-service day canceled, pod 2's in school. So most of the schools in our area have divided up all the kids into 2 sections, and they send like the first half of the alphabet 2 days a week and the other half of the alphabet 2 days a week, and then the other day they may do online. I don't know what they do at other schools. My daughters have school every day, to only 2 days of the week are in person. Everything else is online. But my son's school, they do, I don't know, it's kind of a crazy potluck of classes and happenings. Every teacher's got their own thing they do. It's kind of crazy. But they're all doing it, they're all figuring it out. But anyway, so I get there and there's school in session, but the dog's already got her hopes up because I've already walked down to the school. So I'm like, all right, we're going to do the trails. And then we'll just, you know, very casually leave. I won't let her run around the ball field. So a lot of times I'll let her run around the baseball field because she just runs. She's so energetic. She looks like a greyhound. She's not, but I mean, she will just run like crazy. And so I'm like, okay, so we're just going to go right out, you know, not be noticed. And they have a freaking fire drill, and then there's like hundreds of people pouring out of the school as I'm walking by with a dog. I'm like, oh my gosh. No, I mean, I'm waving at teachers. Nobody's like paying me any attention. I mean, nobody is like looking at me like, do you have permission? I used to volunteer a lot at the school, so they know who I am. So that's probably why. But I'm always kind of like, I always feel a little sketchy when I'm walking the cross-country trails. But it's so nice to walk in the woods, to walk on those cross-country trails. It's so much more interesting than just walking on the side of the road, because we don't have sidewalks because we're out in the middle of the country. So that was my exciting day that I worked. And then so for Critique Club this week we have this painting right here. Speaking of gelatin, I was telling you gelatin does not play a role. I do have paper that has gelatin in it, and the reason I bring that up it might seem totally random, but the reason I bring this up is because this is a very old watercolor block. I mean, look, you can even see the inside of the paper is yellowed, of the cover. Then look at this, blast from the past. I probably bought this about 20 years ago at a little shop called Northlight Books in Blue Hill, Maine, and it has a little sticker that says, as is, $19.70. I don't know why it was as, because there was a little tear on the cover, I think. So anyway, I had that, and after getting that block, I don't know why I didn't use it up. I think because I started using arches more, or maybe I wasn't working that large. I don't know, probably because I had babies very shortly after that and didn't have time for large paintings. So anyway, I knew I wanted to do, I'll show you. So we're going to be decorating for Halloween. Hopefully you're not blinded by that. You see that? I take my little rolly cart and I put a board across the top, and then I have clips on the ceiling, and they're little like cup hooks on the ceiling, and I put binder clips on them, and then I'll clip up a fabric that was left over from my bed skirt that I made the other weekend, and I just use that as a still life setup. It's right at eye level. It's perfect when I'm sitting here painting. And so I set that up to paint, and I was thinking, oh, do I want to do oils? Do I want to do gouache? And then I'm like, I think I'll do gouache and do it as a critique club lesson. The time lapse will be up on Sunday for Sketchbook Sunday. And I thought that'll be really fun. Then I can decide whether I want to spend more time on it with oils. Thinking it would be quicker in gouache. After doing this, I don't know how long it's spent because Jason's done the editing of it. But it seems like it would have been quicker in oils. And that happens to me a lot. Like I'm going to do it in watercolors because it's faster. And then I'll be half through, it's like I should have used gouache, or I should have used oils, It's should have had a V8, That's what I feel like. Walking sideways, painting too long on I don't know. But anyway, that was fun to paint. I enjoy the way it came out. And the reason I'm talking about old paper, now we're going to get to the point here, after like 25 derailments of this conversation, the sizing went bad, and it was a great teachable moment because I had a feeling that the sizing might be bad on that paper because especially in cellulose paper, I've noticed, and in like this Strathmore 400 series, also in the Cotman watercolor paper, which I don't even know if you can get anymore, those papers I've noticed tend to have faulty sizing after a while. and my paper's stored in the basement, except for my bougie full sheet paper that's upstairs under my bed. All the pads and blocks are stored downstairs, and that's a long time to have that paper down here, even though I use a dehumidifier and keep it fairly controlled. So like I wet the paper and immediately it was all soaked in, and then you could see the speckling effect on the paper. That's how you know your sizing has gone bad. If you wet the paper, you don't see a uniform sheen, and you're seeing little like speckles. It's almost hard to see, but it's like it's almost like your paper's white and the speckles are like cream or off-white. And so knowing that, I thought I would do gouache and I would use this so I could kind of use it up, and it turned into a great teachable moment because I was able to show on the video what what paper where the sizing has gone bad looks like. Now you can resize paper, but I have plenty of watercolor paper, so I'll just use it for gouache because you don't need a size paper for gouache. And actually when you do like your first wash of gouache, it kind of seals it so that you can work over it. You could also use paper paints like probably like a Gansai Tambi paint or any of the Gansai paints where they have that glue binder in it that kind of acts as a buffer or a sizing on the paper. So that would be good, but I think it's better for gouache where it's an opaque medium. If you did see any of that texture where the sizing had gone bad or any of that speckling, it would just go away. You wouldn't see that. So that's something I've noticed with those Strathmore 400 series blocks of paper. Overall I recommend that paper, but I just wouldn't hang on to it for too long because I have noticed that even with younger blocks of paper that kind of happens with that one, and the Cotman paper, which I'm not sure is even made anymore, so that point might be moot anyway. But I really thought that was fun. We're getting ready to do Halloween, so I'm like, I might as well dismantle the current mantle decorations I have going on and do a little still life there. So that's upcoming in Critique Club. It might even be up by the time Sat Chat's up. I'm not sure. Half of it's up right now. The other half is on actually this card that I'm recording on. So I'm really gonna have to make sure I organize those files well so they get taken care of. And the other thing I've been working on this week, well, you know, I work on all kinds of things, but I've been doing, you know, I'm not doing Inktober, but I wanted to do a drawing challenge or a personal art challenge this month. So I'm doing figure drawing. And if you follow me on Instagram, I'm just Lindsay Weirich on Instagram. I think there's a link in the video description. I gotta clean up the video descriptions because I've got so much down there. I need to edit that up a bit. But anyway, it's there. It will remain there. So I've been doing figure drawings and drawing people. I've been doing some from imagination, some from reference, and I did this one yesterday. I'm really pleased with that. I don't know if it might be kind of washed out with the bright light on it. And here are a couple from imagination, which I wasn't really happy with them at first, but now I think they're kind of charming and cute and kind of storybookish. So I've been just trying a lot of different methods of drawing, using reference, using my virtual pose books, using there's some timed figure drawing exercises on YouTube on a channel called New Masters Academy, which I really like because they're like 1 minute and they're all like timed out for you. You just put it on. I think they're about a half an hour long, and you do have like 3 or 4 1-minute poses, and you've got a couple 5-minute poses. It's really great for improving your accuracy and your speed, which is something I really need. Like these were some of the quick sketches from that. It's pencil. It probably isn't dark enough to see, but oh, those are some of those I outlined. But yeah, I like those fast poses. There are clothed and unclothed ones. The unclothed ones are age gated, so you do need to be over 18 if you're going to use those, but there are clothed ones if you're looking for something for your teens to be able to draw from. And this was fun. This was from, that one from Imagination. I think I used my virtual pose book to get the pose, and then I put the outfit on. And that was a lot of fun. Yeah, so, oh, and today's I thought would be fun. I haven't, actually this will be yesterday's because I filmed these on Friday afternoons. But this one, I wanted to show the difference between a 5-minute pose and taking an hour to draw it. So, I thought that was really fun. It was really fun to do it. That was another 5-minute pose too. That was, I'm just really enjoying this. I used to love to go to life drawing groups. I haven't since the twins were born. I don't even know of any around anymore. Of course, if there were, that would be moot too because, you know, the pandemic and everything. But I found one like 2 years ago, and as soon as I found it, it was like they disbanded after that, so it was really a bummer. But it is such a great way to, you know, get you drawing, get that pencil moving, because you don't have time to worry about anything because you've got like 1 minute or 30 seconds even sometimes. So it's just a great way to train yourself to draw better. I did work in some other sketchbooks, but I decided with the figure drawing I needed larger paper, especially when I'm doing the timed sketches, because I'll just put a couple on a page. You know, and I'm starting to see some improvement actually just in this week, and yeah, I mean, that's what, you know, really doing some good practice every day will help. I mean, and it's like I create art every day, but a lot of times it's not necessarily pushing myself. It's more utilitarian. It's like, I have a job to do, so I'm going to do this project. It's not something that's really going to push my own growth. It's more to teach others. So it's something I know by rote basically to do. So it's good. I'm feeling all the good brain, you know, synapses and things that happen when you're learning something, when you're in that learning environment. Oh, speaking of learning environments, this is something that I thought was fascinating and so awesome. So my kid, so I've been a little anxious the last week and a half, I'm not gonna lie, because, you know, I've been thinking a lot about the kids' futures and, you know, college and all of that stuff, the pandemic and, you know, all of the things that kind of noodle into your brain and then, you know, drive you insane. And so I always thought, boy, wouldn't it be cool? Because my daughters take AP classes, and with an AP class, you get credit for high school for that class, and then I'm sure you guys know what an AP class is, but anyway, just in case you don't, you get credit for high school, but then you can take a test at the end. It's like $100, and if you pass it, then you get that class is counted towards your college education at participating schools. And there's many schools that you can go to the College Board website, and it will tell you what schools take the AP tests. So you can knock out a bunch of those core classes before you get to college and save yourself some cash, save yourself some time. You know, you could do your degree and get a bachelor's degree in, you know, 2 or 3 years instead of the typical 4 years that it takes in America. I know it's only 3 years in the UK, which I think is great. So you can really, you know, save a lot of money that way and save a lot of time that way too. So I always thought, boy, wouldn't it be cool if you could study something and then pay to take the AP test and get college credit? Well, it turns out there is a program like that, and it's called CLEB. CLEB, I believe, but if you just search College Board, and I don't know about other countries, this is in the United States, obviously, but there's like 35 classes that you can, you know, take. You pay $89 to take the test, and you can check before you take the test, before you decide to learn this stuff, if the college that you're interested in enrolling in takes it, and it goes by state, so you can look up. We have 3 colleges in Maine that take the AP and CLEB credits. And so that's great. You know, depending on where you live, there may be 1, there may be 5. I don't know. Everybody has different, usually your state universities will take them, because the College Board is a nationally recognized thing. So I thought that's great. I mean, my gosh, you could knock out your freshman year, maybe even part of your sophomore year for cheap. And there's free classes too. I am not endorsing them. I haven't actually done it, but I thought this is a great way, because, you know, when you're looking at, you know, kids spending, you know, $400 to $1,400 per credit hour and being stuck at home doing their schooling, not even going into a class, I mean, why not knock out some of those classes? You're going to be home anyway. You know, because I don't like the laissez-faire attitude I'm hearing from some universities. They're saying, well, you know, and explaining why their tuition's going up rather than going down. And I understand if they're not set up for online learning, they may have to invest in some infrastructure for that. But the kids are not getting what they're paying for. They're not getting the value that they would be getting if they were in school, I don't think. You know, thinking back to my own college days. And in the explanation I'm hearing from some university administrators is, well, you know, it's a better time to do college now when you can do it at home, because you're not missing out on traveling and working. So, you know, so it's okay to pay the extra money to be going, and it's just like, really, you know, I don't, they say it's less of an opportunity cost because you're not missing out on working or traveling. So that's why it's worth still paying the full tuition, even though you're stuck at home. And I'm sorry, I don't buy it. I think that you can be resourceful and do it for less and get, you know, if you're not going to get that on-campus experience. Anyway, that's just what I'm thinking. I've been thinking a lot about this. So I thought that was interesting. Of course, you know, you got to be an independently motivated person, but there are free classes. They offer free classes that you can study with, so you can know what you need to know for those tests. I think that's amazing. There's a lot of business classes. There's core classes. So yeah, something to look at. And I don't think it's not like restricted to just kids. It's, you know, kids just coming out of high school. It's adult learners too. So if you're thinking about going back to college, you might as well check it out. I have no idea what, you know, they old school online colleges cost that you see advertised on TV. But I mean, that's something that's accredited all over the country. So I would think that that would be a pretty safe option and a pretty affordable one. And I know there are some programs that would even waive the fee. So, you know, depending, different states have different things like that for high school students to take college classes for free as well. So, hey, if you've got kids that are getting into college, getting into high school, this might be stuff to think about, the AP testing. And if your state often will have free college classes for kids that can take like so many credit hours a year. So there's different ways that you can make college more affordable for your kids or grandkids. Let your, you know, if you're a grandparent, you let your kids know, for your grandchildren's sake, because, you know, we want to do right by our kids. We want to, you know, launch them out to the world with as little debt as possible and, you know, raise solid citizens. Oh, parenting is hard. I'm trying to think of, oh yes, I do have some other things that I'm working on for next week. This is pretty. This is my palette after I was done painting the still life. I just don't want to clean it because it's so pretty. I haven't taken the photo of that painting for Instagram, and I'll need to flesh it out so it's a square, so maybe I'll put the palette underneath it. I'm like, isn't that hard? You guys have that problem where like your palette is so pretty when you're done a project that you don't want to clean it because it's like, it may be prettier than your painting. That happens all the time. It's like, I don't want to wash it. It's too pretty. But I will have a review on this gouache coming up soon. I'll be actually, I don't know if I'll do like a solid review. I can tell you one thing, it came with a broken handle, so it's only got one handle on it, but I don't think I'd be carrying this around too much, to be honest with you, because it's awfully big. But I like that it's got like a rubbery seal. It's got like a foam seal on there. It does get messy, but who cares? You can scoop that up and use the paint if you want to. But you just got to make sure you put it back the same way. I like that because then they're not going to dry out. But look at this. Holy moly. I can't tip it too much or we'll have a mess on our hands. But isn't that pretty? I didn't think I'd want so many colors, but it is really handy, especially with gouache, where it's more of a design product than a... well, it's always been more of a design product than like a quote-unquote fine art product. I'm really enjoying, and all these colors are mixed with other colors, I'm sure. There's no pigment information. I'm just using it for fun, and I like the results I'm getting from it. So I'm going to compare this with the other jelly cut gouache sets that I have so you can kind of see what the differences are in case you're interested in buying one. I mean, that's a lot of colors. You certainly don't need that many, but I'm surprised at how much I enjoy painting from a palette that big with, I like having all the colors out. I don't like messing with tubes. That's why I like watercolor so much. So that's kind of the ease of watercolor. I'm surprised that they make that set, that in other countries that is what they start children with. Maybe not one that big, but that style of paint, because I would just think, what a nightmare. I've taught kids classes, and yeah, palettes after kids are done with them, I would like, because we would use, we might use acrylic if it's something that needs to be able to be washable, but a lot of times we use tempera paint, and it's like, yeah, I'm just giving them plastic pellets that can be hosed off when I'm done, because that I can't imagine. But probably kids in other like, I think in like China and Japan and probably Korea, probably kids are a lot more disciplined about cleaning the brush between colors and things like that. But it would have been a hot mess in my class. But for adults, I think it's fantastic. So anyway, I'm enjoying it much more than I thought. I'll have a review, well, a comparison, because I mean, I've reviewed those types of, I think quality-wise, all of the jelly cut gouaches that I've tried have been pretty much identical in quality. Just the color variations between sets and what the manufacturer decides to go with. That seems to be the big difference. Just depends on what size of a palette you want to deal with. Like that, you do need an extra palette. A lot of them come with palettes, or the lid is a palette as well. You know, just so that's what I'm going to go over. I don't know if it'll be that interesting, but it'll help someone, I'm sure, somebody that's looking to buy gouache in that style, because it's kind of interesting. It's kind of a fun, you know, novel thing. I am not used to my hair yet. It was just 2 or 3 nights ago, Lila cut it. It's still so short. It's kind of like a pixie almost. It's so short. But I like it. I do like it. It'll be like the perfect length in about a week because my hair grows really fast. I'm trying to think. Oh, you know what? I did buy something to review because I had a couple people request it. What did I do with that thing? It's right here. And I got some new oil pastels. Oh shoot, sorry. Didn't mean to kick the camera there. We got a couple minutes left. I did an oil pastel. Oh, that's the gouache all swatched out, by the way. It doesn't really shift wet to dry much, so I like that. Where is it? Can I find it? I did an oil pastel picture. right here, also in the figure drawing challenge, and I really enjoyed it. And guess what? I use some real cheap oil pastels. I use my Senneliers, the expensive bougie oil pastels for final touches. But man, oh man, I have to say that having those expensive Sennelier pastels reminded me how much I love the cheapo Pentel, like 50 for 10 bucks or less. I think I paid $6 for 50 pastels as well. And then the Mungio pastels, which are also very affordable. And they're like, I think you can get like 24 for about 12 bucks. They just all work so well together, and that was just really nice because I didn't feel like I wasted money on the Senneliers, but I also felt like it made my older supplies more useful. So so that was new. These watercolors, Phoenix have come out with pan watercolors on Amazon, and I wasn't going to buy them because I was actually hoping that our local Ocean State job lot might get these because they sell a lot of Phoenix art supplies. But I had several people asked me to review them, and I'm like, I'm not going to buy the 48 set for 36 bucks or 39 bucks, whatever it was, because I'm like, I just don't know. I've tried their tube paints and I did not like them. I have their cake paints, not pans, but the cakes. Those are fantastic for the price. They're like 5 bucks for 24. They're awesome. Their tube paints, which were like 24 for 10 bucks, are not great. So I was like, I don't know. I don't want to spend a lot of money. So I bought this set of 12 for $16. Here's the swatches. And I'll be reviewing those. It'll probably be 2 weeks from now because I haven't done that much with them. I haven't done enough to like concretely form a strong opinion. But pardon me, that's coming soon. I also found, I just couldn't resist. When I was ordering them, there was a set of like 48 watercolors. It was like $15. And I'm like, you know, I need another tin. If these are junk, the tin with pans would cost that much anyway. I'm going to go for it. So I don't know. I haven't even swatched them out yet. They're in a box over there. They're from like a company called Doodle Hog. I've never heard of this company before. I was just in a mood, and I'm like, I'm giving it a try, why not? And oh, something else I bought, but I can't tell you because it's a present for my sister for her birthday, and it's such a good present, and I'm usually a total crappy gift giver. I don't know, I do not have a good gift giving gene. I don't know why I can't figure out what people want. But anyways, I found her the perfect present. It is so good that I kind of want to buy one for myself too, but I can't tell you that till after her birthday. Then I'll tell you what it is because it's so good. It's so good. Although I won't want to link it because then it will sell out and then I won't be able to get any. Because now I can't buy it for myself because I told my kids that I really wanted that and they could never buy anything for me because I'm a terrible person to buy gifts for because I have everything and I don't want anything typically, but that I want. And you'll have to wait. You'll have to tune in next time for the gripping conclusion of what I bought my sister for her birthday. That'll be after the 19th because that's what her birthday is. Well, that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching this crazy rambling chat about nothing. Until next time, happy crafting! Oh, one more thing. Art of the Carolinas. Those live classes that are going to be online in November, they are live and that is it. There's no recording after those classes. I just want to make sure I mention that as well. I'll mention it again in another video because I really think it's important to say that. I should have said it at the beginning, but I was all distracted. So I will put that in the video description just to make sure everybody sees it because who listens to this for 28 minutes? Let me know if you do. I'd be really curious. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.